1031 exchanges, which I kind of chuckle because this was floating around in the news that this potentially was going to go away. I don't see this going away anytime soon, but 1031 exchanges, which is basically you bought a property, you're sitting on a huge gain, you bought it for $200,000, it's worth $500,000, and if you went and sold it, you'd pay tax on that $300,000 gain potentially. But if you take those proceeds and say, hey, government, I'm not going to take any money from this deal, I'm rolling it all into a new deal that's equal or greater value. Remember that, equal or greater value. I can defer all the tax. So I'm swapping. I'm going from one investment to another. I'm not taking any chips off the table. And the government will allow me, the IRS will allow me to avoid paying any tax on that transaction. That's a huge advantage.
Why do people do this? Help me understand, because I understand the general premise, but to break this down for people at home, if you have, let's say, a house that you bought for $400K and it's worth $1 million, and wouldn't most people want to make $600,000 and pay the taxes on it? Or I'd imagine the idea is that they just want to parlay it. They want to let it ride into another investment and just let it kind of compound on into a different property or something like that.
The best way I could explain this, and I like it because it's just coming to my brain right now, is think about it. That's two different mindsets of people. If mindset one is, whoa, I bought this thing for $4, it's worth $1 million, I need money. That this is not part of my wealth building strategy. I'm in a situation in life where I need funds. That is somebody who's likely going to sell, and I would argue should sell. Sell, recognize the tax bill, $600,000 gain, call it you keep, I don't know, whatever it ends up being, whatever your tax situation is, $500,000, pay the tax. But what if you're of the mindset B, where you're like, I don't need this cash. This is part of my wealth building journey. What the argument then would be, why pay any tax on it if my plan is to continuously invest in these kind of assets, roll my money into a new deal, and then I dodge all the tax? Because as we know in one of our tax hacks that we'll share, it gets even better when you use the 1031 exchange compounded with another tax hack to you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. So if you guys, okay, yeah, I know where you're going with it.
I think it's a mindset shift of, you're right. Hey, if it's someone that needs the cash, you're right. Why wouldn't somebody do it? You should do that. But if you don't need that and you are on an investing journey and you're trying to build wealth, then I would argue, don't give away any money to tax. Let the money roll into another deal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a little breadcrumb for everybody at home. Stick around until the very last tax hack, because this is the one that gets everyone angry, I think, the most. It's the one that the billionaires use, and everyone's like, I can't believe the system's rigged against me. But the good news is y'all can use this one too. I'm with you, man, on the 1031. I think for me, real estate has never been a pay me today situation. It has always been it's not my money, and it's basically a savings account. And I buy this house that appreciates over time. It's my piggy bank. I pay down the balance. It grows in equity. It grows, it appreciates, right? And so for me, I've done this. I've sold properties, and I'm 1031ing one right now. I'm at a crossroads on, do I take the chips or do I parlay it? Parlay is a very bad word for that. It's like, it's a gambling term, but it's more like, do I let it ride? That's kind of how, that's still a gambling term, but I take the profits of this property, and instead of saying, hey, I'm going to get taxed on this today, I'm going to move these into a bigger property, because I think that's one of the prerequisites of a 1031. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I want to move it into a different property, which means that I don't have to come out of pocket to buy it, because I'm using my profits here to buy it. And then now I've got a bigger property that the balance gets paid down on and appreciates even higher, because it's a bigger, more expensive property. And then one day I've got way more equity and wealth in that. And then I sell that and I put that into an even bigger property. And so I'm compounding my wealth little by little. That's always been my mindset. I understand taking the chips today. I haven't done it yet, but it's appealing for certain people, and if you really, really need it.
And the reality is, remember, 1031 exchanges, not to get too technical, have to be done with real property, which is real estate or land. I remember back in the day when crypto was really popping off, you had people 1031ing on their returns, coin to coin movements, because it was at that point not specific to real estate. But one thing I want to mention there is you could still be of the mindset that, hey, I need to let this money continuously work. I don't want to sell it. I don't need the cash. But a 1031 won't be an option if, let's say, you're sitting on that property, you bought it for $4, it's worth $1 million. And now you have a good business opportunity to go invest in a business. Maybe that is still a reason to liquidate, pay the tax, and then take whatever my cash balance is left and put it into a new deal. But again, if you're a real estate investor and that is the goal, and you're moving up and up and up in these properties, 1031 is perfect. It's exactly what you want.
Hey, by the way, if you liked this conversation, I've got good news for you. There's way more where that came from. If you want to watch the whole thing, click right here.